What do you know about a human-centered workplace? Think about it this way. When was the last time you had a boss that you knew really cared about you and not just the widgets that you produce? Or can you think of a time when you had a boss who really didn't care about you, just wanted you to perform the task that they hired you for? And that when we talk about a human-centered workplace, it's about putting the humanity back into the workplace. And in this day and age of AI and automation, those organizations that know how to optimize humanity, that know how to really dive into people and relationships and those soft skills, are going to be the ones that succeed. So for me, as I think about those two types of leaders, and I had one boss as I was transitioning out of working with him into my next job. The COVID pandemic hit, and it was a tough and difficult time for everybody. And he reached out to me a couple months after leaving that organization to make sure me and my family had health care during that time and to talk about the challenges during that. I remember that meaning so much to me. Contrast that to that boss that I had who just he called me the day after my son was born to ask me to digitally sign some documents so that he could get those off of his plates. The Arbinger Institute is talking about this idea of the human-centric workplace and putting people first in leadership and self-deception, a great book that I'd highly recommend. They talk about it in terms of these two mindsets, the outward focused mindset and the inward focused mindset. So let's kind of define these a little bit. The inward focused mindset is when you view people as problems or obstacles to getting the job done. And we've all been there. We've all have experienced that. We've all led that way, I think, if we're honest with ourselves, when we've looked at people and they haven't given 100% or they've shown up or they've taken too many days off, that we just get frustrated and we deal with them as a problem instead of as a human. Contrast that to the outward focused mindset of where we care about people as a whole. We're looking at people as a human being, understanding that they may have arguments with their teenagers before they come into work. They may be sick. They maybe have experienced something great, or they may have a challenge that they're trying to do outside of work and accomplish. And these things can be difficult to manage, to engage with the person as a whole, because it can feel like it's not my place or it's a difficult conversation or how do I bring that up. But we've all experienced those times when we've been with a leader that we know has truly cared about us. And we've experienced that difference. And as a leader, I'm asking you, are you able to truly say your workplace is different, that there's a different mindset? Because when you engage the entire person, it unlocks them. It brings about some synergy. And I know that's kind of like a buzzword, but when you are allowing a person to fully bring their creativity, to fully bring themselves into this workplace, you can experience things so much more abundantly. In fact, Arbinger Institute in their most recent survey said places that experience high employee satisfaction are 7 times more likely to have high revenue increases year over year. That's because people are bringing and they're working out of their overflow. They're not drudging the bottom. They're giving the best of themselves to the workplace. And that's the difference between an outward focused mindset and an inward focused mindset. It's about caring about the person as a person. One of the big kind of challenges I get whenever I talk about caring about a person and really having empathy for them, enabling that skill of empathy and caring about people as people, is it feels like we're lowering the bar, right? It feels like, well, if I care about them, then I'm understanding them and not really holding them to the standard that they do. And empathy lowers bars. That is not what empathy does. That's not what love does. It does not lower bars. It raises them. Accountability is how you show your employees you care. During this time when it's difficult to know, should I hire, and hiring the right person is hard, and being stuck with somebody is detrimental to your organization, getting those people right inside of your organization is so much more profitable and beneficial for your organization. And as a leader, when you can teach your people to communicate and to care about each other, not just on a, hey, are you producing this? Are you doing this for me? But as a human being, somebody who's deep and wide, it creates so much more power inside of your organization. So I got to ask, are you being accountable? Are you holding people accountable? Are you showing empathy? And again, I think about Dan Campbell. I'm a big Lions fan. If you've seen a lot of his videos, you know I wear my Lions hat. You know I'm a big Lions fan. Dan Campbell is somebody who passionately cares for his players. He loves them. I've seen him be brought to tears talking about those players. But you also know his bar is sky high. He does not let those guys off the hook. He holds them accountable, because that's what caring for somebody does. Shows them that you care, shows them that you're involved in them. So I want to encourage you, how are you looking at people as people and not just problems to be solved? How are you asking questions and diving into people's lives? And I know it's difficult, and there's HR rules and regulations, and I'm not trying to say step outside of any bounds, but I am saying, what inside of your heart, what inside of your head needs to shift? What story do you need to stop telling yourself, or what do you need to start telling yourself that is going to make you think about people differently, that is going to make you want to engage with them at a different level, not just as widget pushers, not just as somebody who needs to hit a certain mark, but as somebody who's going to do better and care about them. So how can you better see and support the people around you this week? I just want to ask you that. How can you better see and support the people around you this week? As you look at them and think about them, what's it going to take? I would love to talk to you and problem solve that with you. Hit me up in the comments and we'll start the conversation.